Hey, it's Luke, warehouse manager, and I made this video a couple times and I have deleted all of them, so I'm remaking it. And the thing that I wanted to talk about, it's just one of my favorite things to talk about, or excuse me, to tell people when I don't like that they're not doing it, and that's having a bell on your bike. Anytime I'm out on mountain bike trails, or I'm on wide fire roads, or I'm riding road, or I'm commuting, and I commute every day to work, I have a bell. And I'm making this video because I was thinking about something that happened, gosh, like a month ago now. And I was riding over the Golden Gate Bridge, and there was a road cyclist who passed me really close, and I could tell they were gunning to get around me and multiple people. And so it seemed like they were kind of off camber, like they didn't really have good balance. And so they passed really close to me and close to the people in front of me, and it scared the heck out of me, honestly. And, really upset me. Not because of anything other than I got scared, and I get angry when I get scared. I'd rather just be angry than scared, I guess. And it made me think about this, and how, I guess with folks with drop bar bikes, you may have less space on your bars for a bell, or it's not considered a racy thing and you want to save weight, or I know a lot of people have very loud hubs. I think that the hub on my bikes, it's not too loud. Like, I'd say it's actually pretty reasonable. And yeah, sometimes if I'm approaching pedestrians, I'll just coast and do that. But the fact is I've got a bell, and I'll ring that right now. And it's very resonant. It's really nice. This is probably my favorite bell that we sell, which is the Ritten Rotary. And just like so simple. And, even when it's wet out, this is as resonant as it is when it's dry. I would say, like the Suzu or the lever strike bells, they can be a little bit dampened. They're damp from the rain. Anyway, they can be a little bit damp. The sound can be a little bit dampened, and they're a little bit less resonant in heavy rain. And this is not affected by that. And I really like that. But I have it right here because it's to me, a very clear reminder, hey, I have a bell. I should be using this. There are people who might want to know that I'm coming. And, I guess that there could be a rationale. Maybe I shouldn't use the bell. I might scare the pedestrians or other cyclists because I'm passing. And again, this is a very resonant, vibrant, and also loud bell. But I also have been in the position, and I don't claim perfection, where I've passed someone and I have not used a bell. And I've passed close and they've been scared. And it's not okay, and they call out. And invariably I stop and I say, I'm sorry. I should have used a bell, and I'm sorry that I didn't. And now I no longer do that. I just choose to use a bell, and I do it far enough behind people that they know that I'm coming, that it isn't a surprise, and I'd rather that they might be a little bit startled by a bell than they're startled and or hit by me on my bike. And I know that this may vary by country or region. I know that here in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, it's not the same as, I was actually watching a video that Jim Porter, our president, sent me of a man walking around Japan just ringing a bell. It was just as a pedestrian, and how quickly folks got out of the way. They didn't even look. They just determined where the bell was coming from, and they got out of the way of the pedestrian. And I found that to be a really good example of just how different it is from culture to culture. And that also, I think, really reinforces my idea that having a culture that recognizes and uses bells while cycling, I believe it's better for it. I really look towards the Japanese and the culture that they have in their major metropolitan areas specifically as something that we could really work towards. And so we distribute Crane bells and Osaka bells and all that, and you know, with that in mind, I don't think that you have to buy a Crane bell to be safe while you're out riding. I'm using it as an example more than anything else, although I really like the quality, and I think they're pretty great. We even have there's a little roadie bell that's like this big, that's so light that it can clamp to some sort of cable housing. So even if you're running a road bike with, you know, running hydraulic, you might have a cable peeking out. You can clip it to that. It's just so light and innocuous and out of the way. But I've used Spur Cycle bells. I've had bells from Velo Orange. I've had any number of bells. Just having a means of letting people know that you're nearby or coming on your bike, I think it's very helpful, and it could prevent people coming after you because they get upset because you scare them or you clip them or whatever. You know, and to that point, that roadie I was mentioning, I have nothing against folks who road cycle or who mountain bike or anything in between. I have found that it does not matter. It could be a recreator, like a road cyclist or a mountain biker, or it could be someone who's commuting. I've been scared by so many different people who've not used a bell. So I think this kind of cuts across all sections of the cycling community. But I wouldn't mind hearing what you have to say. I think bells are great. I think they're fun. And for me too, it's one of those things that it's an inexpensive addition to a bike, you know, relatively, right? You know, you're paying $20 for a bell. That's not insignificant, but rather than say buying a new wheel set, it's kind of an inexpensive and fun way to make your bike your own. And I also love the patina that brass bells develop. But yeah, anyway, I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and thanks.